boys and girls, it's Miss Lisa, the art teacher. Welcome back to my table of art. Today I'd like to talk to you about a graffiti artist. A graffiti artist named Keith Haring. What is graffiti? Well, graffiti is writings on walls, subways, trains that you're not supposed to be doing. On the subways, on the trains, the outside of the trains, there were a lot of train graffiti where people from like the Bronx or Queens that had gangs, there was a lot of gangs, like groups of friends that hung together, and they would call their gangs different names, or they'd all have nicknames. They would write their names on the side of trains using spray cans. That was one type of a graffiti artist. Then there was the subway artist, Keith Haring. He would ride the subways, and on the subways, the walls in the subway, they would have these big boards with advertisements of different companies. It would look something like this. These are two advertisements side by side on a big board. And sometimes when the people that are advertising don't want to pay the advertising fees anymore, the advertising company would come in and they would put a black paper over the ads so that they're no longer seen or visible. If you don't want to pay, you don't get to advertise. So one day Keith Haring was walking in the subway and he said, "Wow, what a perfect opportunity for a canvas." He took that black paper on those boards and he started drawing these figures. Let me show you Keith Haring style figures. They look sort of like this, and you're probably going to say, "Oh, I know who that is," and that's great if you do. Keith Haring would spread his message of love and kindness all across the city, wherever he found those blank black canvases. He used to stand for certain things that were going on in the world, things that were current. Like, for instance, if he was to make one today, it might look like something like this. Why? Well, you tell me why it might look like this. This is one of his figures in the form or the style of Keith Haring. There's the earth above, so I guess this signifies it's a national something. It has to do with the whole world. Notice the figure has a mask on. Well, there you go. We have a mask on one of the figures, and their arms are chained. So this kind of signifies a prisoner of the pandemic. Prisoners of our home, prisoners of the germ, prisoners all over the world. We're not actual prisoners, but sometimes you may feel like that, being locked in the house, not being with your friends. So this is something that Keith Haring might do to spread the message about the pandemic. And it would look sort of like this over one of the advertisements that were no longer able to advertise because either they're not going to pay or their contract might be up. So he would take advantage of all these black blank slates to create his own art. So what we're going to do today, we're going to take a piece of white construction paper, a big piece like this. Now I've already done it. You're going to look through magazines, look through newspapers, look all over to find full pages of advertisements. Even if you find a bunch of little ones, make it so that they're all together on one side so it looks like one full advertisement. I happen to have a good magazine with two huge advertisements, so this is what I have. An advertisement on the right and an advertisement on the left. Glue them down. Make it look as authentic as one you might see in the subway. Then take a piece of black construction paper and cover one side. Glue it down. Use liquid glue, use glue sticks, whatever kind of glue you want, and glue it over one side of the advertising. Make it seem like they no longer want to advertise or they no longer want to pay. So the advertising company has come in and they've decided time to cover that up. So I'm going to glue mine down. I'm going to bring my, oh, here we go. My helping hand help me bring my camera down. So here I have the two ads side by side, but I want to block one of them off. So I have a blank canvas for my drawing. Hang on one second, I want to get my liquid glue. Alright, so I'm going to use liquid glue to glue this down. So what I'm going to do on this side, I have clear glue so you're not going to be able to see it. I'm just putting it all over this side. I must not have shut it properly because it dried out here. Okay. I'm just going to go right across so the liquid glue glues that black canvas right onto my old advertisement that we're going to cover up with the black construction paper. Here we go. Position it in the middle if you can and press down. On the edges where I didn't get it so good, I'm going to revisit it so it doesn't curl up. Glue the bottom, glue down along the side. Okay, the best you can, glue down your black construction paper over the advertisement as if they no longer wanted to pay, so they're coming in and covering it up. Then you're going to need either a piece of white chalk, which I'm going to use, or you can use a white oil pastel, or you could use a white crayon, but the crayon is not as strong. It doesn't leave the effect that you may get from either the chalk or the oil pastel. Let's see if I have a white oil pastel. I know I have the oil pastels. I'm just not sure if I have a white one. Let me see. Because those are so strong. And it makes it look more like a Keith Haring type of a... No. No such luck. Okay. So I'm going to go with my white chalk, which is missing. Where's my white chalk? See, boys and girls, this is the importance of having a neat desk. Oh, it's on the floor. I take it back. That has nothing to do with me being neat or sloppy. Okay, what Keith Haring did, most of his style, when he would do his subway art, he would draw a border around the black blank canvas. That would be his first step. Then I want you, as the artist, the graffiti artist for today, I want you to think about what kind of a message you want to come across. Something that shows love, kindness, consideration, friendship, whatever you want to say, using one of the Keith Haring bodies or Keith Haring's style onto the paper. So let me think about what I might want to share. I think I might want to share my love of art. So I'm going to start with my figure. We'll start with his head. He has sort of like a rounded head. Then I'll make my arm maybe a little positioned to hold something. And this other hand, the same thing. Keeping in the Keith Haring style of drawing. And I think we'll make a paintbrush in this hand. How's that? And the easel in this hand. And my love of art. And Keith Haring always had these little accent marks, which usually signified movement or used to emphasize something. So I'm emphasizing my love of art, and I'm painting. And I'll just make a little easel over here. Not so obvious, but it's a heart. I'll make it like I'm painting a heart. And you can't really see it. It's only off to the side. I think that this might be good. Okay, so this was just a quick sample of what I did, showing my love of art. I've got an easel, a paintbrush, a heart. Maybe I'll use something over here because if you look at this, it's not very balanced. Everything's over to one side. So let's add another heart. How's that? We'll add another heart. We'll use these accent marks. And maybe I'll just draw a little stool here. What do you think? Just a little stool. You know, maybe something that I might sit on. How's that? Just to balance it out. All right, that looks much better. Okay, so that was just a quick sketch using the style that Keith Haring draws with to create my figure. So you might say, hey, that's Keith Haring because he used all these little dashes when he showed movement. His bodies are rounded and curvy, and it's expressing something of kindness or love. And it doesn't have to be a romantic love. It could be a love between friends, you know, any kind of love, any kind of positive message you want to make in your Keith Haring advertisement or subway art or graffiti art. That's up to you. That's your artistic choice, your artistic decision. So use this as a guide on how to draw his figures. Think about what kind of message you might want to get across to other people. Grab your chalk or your oil pastel, and again, if you don't have either, use a white crayon. Might not be as bright as the white chalk or pastel. And start your graffiti art. Have fun. Okay, remember, boys and girls, this is Keith Haring, graffiti artist. He has unfortunately passed, and we only have his memory of his figures, his dog. Did you notice his dog? His dog. And his positive message around the world. All right, guys, this is Miss Lisa, your art teacher, saying ciao for now from my table of art. Be good, be kind, and I'll see you next week. Bye-bye.